nostalgia and having some of the coolest, most eye-pleasing, chic, wacky, out-of-this-world, silly-looking fashion. If you're new to K-pop, you may not understand what exactly I'm saying, but today's K-pop fashion is more casual with a spectacle look every now and again. But it wasn't always that way. Way back before K-pop was seen as a cool genre to listen to, many people dismissed K-pop because 1, it's in Korean, and 2, the fashion and music video were choices. Yes, back in the day of the React channel, you will watch random strangers laugh and make fun of K-pop idols and how they dressed. The wild and unusual hair, the crazy patterned clothing, K-pop fashion back then was a choice. But how did we get to today's fashion choices? What was the shift in K-pop fashion that made it what it is today? Join me in this journey of K-pop fashion starting from the 90s and ending on today's fashion choices. Let's rewind the clock all the way back to 1992 with the debut of a 3-member boy group named Seo Taiji and the Boys. Debuting with their song I Know, Seo Taiji and the Boys will mark a massive change in K-pop. See, before K-pop was a mashup of different genres, back in the 70s and 80s, Korean music consisted of folk music, trot, and ballads. I Know brought in the hip-hop sound, bringing in this loud 808 sound, synths, poppy snares, and rapping. I Know will become a massive hit. Seo Taiji and the Boys will bring in a new fashion wave. What used to be a set look of professional performing clothes, silk shirts, black pants, dress shoes, dresses, and heels, or traditional clothing. Seo Taiji will bring back the casual wear and sportswear, including baseball caps and jackets, basketball shorts, tracksuits, jeans, and hoodies. This fashion sense was typical of the 90s, starting from black hip-hop and rap, with groups like Wu-Tang Clan and TLC helping bring about its popularity. This era of K-pop is what I like to call the copycat era. Remember, modern day K-pop started back in the 90s. Thus, K-pop didn't have a true identity yet. So in order to seem cool and ahead of the time, they copied 90s artists as mentioned TLC, Will Smith, NWA, Run DMC, and many more. No longer were these idols wearing pleasant looking clothes for stages, neat and kept looking hair, and overall professional appearance. These new age idols were loud, colorful, their hair was dyed brown and blonde. Some even had frosted tips with hair clips everywhere. Gone were the professional looking clothing. Now idols were wearing oversized overalls like in Candy by H.O.T, crop tops and tins with a new look in Baby Fox's Get Up music video, tracksuits back then were the norm in SES's Dreams Come True, and Turbo's Black Cat Narrow. The beginning of K-pop was a unique moment both fashion-wise and music-wise, but like anything new, it became oversaturated. SM would debut the very first boy group, H.O.T. Then the newly made YG Entertainment would debut fellow idol group Cheshkis. Soon, more and more male and female idol groups would debut, and more of the same thing would be made. The audience would grow restless as they were getting more or less of the same thing. There needed to be a change that kept everyone's attention. Lee Jung-hyun came into the entertainment scene not by music but by acting, but with her award-winning role in 1996. Lee Jung-hyun will soon focus on not her acting but music. Titled the Techno Queen, Lee Jung-hyun would introduce the techno genre to South Korea. Along with the music came her unique fashion. Lee Jung-hyun will pioneer what I call the costume era of K-pop for second-gen idols. Gone were the hip and trendy clothes, and instead they were replaced with wild, silver and metallic looking clothing like in WA. Theatrical looks would be Lee Jung-hyun's branding as well as her unique microphones. Not only would Lee Jung-hyun's music top the charts and win many awards, her fashion would open the doors of a new era in K-pop. From 2000 to 2010, K-pop would be entering its wave of new idols and idol groups. This wave of idols will be called the second gen of K-pop. This era of K-pop had a massive weight on their shoulders. They had to both continue the trend of K-pop music, but yet still somehow stand out from their seniors in both sound and fashion. The fashion of early 2000s were still following the path of 90s with bright and bubbly looks. There were slight differences with the influence of Western artists like Britney Spears, Beyonce, and Lady Gaga. For female idols, sporting a more fun and rebellious look with darker makeup, short hair, and dark clothing, that always changed in the second half of the 2000s. In 2008 to 2012, many groups would gently shy away from the bold 90s look and soon start to lean towards polished and welcoming looks. Gone were the baggy clothes and denim on denim styles. Now K-pop groups were wearing blazers with plain t-shirts and leather pants. Sneakers and Timbs were replaced with stiletto heels and dress shoes. Second-gen idols was a clear divide in male idol groups and female idol groups. Gone were the bright and colorful style of clothing for men. Now, dark and muted colors as well as for music videos were the thing. Female idols, we got a lot of girl next door looks. Everything was much more bright and cheery. Female idols wore more modest clothing opposed to the revealing rebellious looks of the 90s. If the 90s was the copycat era, the 2000s was the hodgepodge era. As soon, the look for K-pop completely changed once again. No longer were male idols wearing dark clothes, and no longer were female idols in modest clothing. Now everything, and I mean everything, was clashing patterns, flashy metallic clothes, quirky and wacky costume pieces, and so many strange hairstyles. Let's start with the clashing patterns. No longer were idols in uniform clothing. Gone was a color scheme, and instead the stylists mixed and matched patterns everywhere. From Shiny Sherlock to Girls' Generation's I Got a Boy, idols were now wearing anything that looked decent. Not good, but decent. Next came the metallic clothing. This trend comes from the futuristic concept popularized by Lee Jung-hyun, as the concept was the intro to EDM with songs like Electric Shock, Lucifer, Sorry Sorry, Run Devil Run. Why are so many of these SM songs? Next was the costume era of K-pop. As soon it was no longer cool to wear clashing patterns or metallic pieces. Not everything had a costume to it. Catalina with its sushi pieces, everybody with its soldier looks, Big Bang with both Bang 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 and Fantastic Baby, Wonder Girls with their Dreamgirls inspired dresses, and of course the wild hairstyles. It was the invasion of the platinum blondes during this era. You could not escape idols going platinum blonde. And if they weren't going near bleach white blonde, they had some crazy hairstyles. This trend of wild and colorful hair will continue even today. Second gen idol will be a golden era of iconic looks and memorable songs. But with these iconic looks came a price. 1. The costumes were too complicated to properly dance in. 2. It took too long to make the costumes to be worn only a few times or less. And 3. The costumes were expensive, especially if you have more than 5 members to a group. Not only that, but the electro pop music was slowly dying out and a new style needed to be made fast. Let's fast forward to 2010. The trend of dark male groups, video, and outfits were still prominent as female idols still kept a cute and sweet persona. K-pop was still in its loud techno EDM phases. This will all come to a head with one song in 2012.
Oppan Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style.
Gangnam Style was a hit no one expected. Having currently 4 billion views on YouTube, this quirky party song helped bring in a crowd of newcomers, and with that came the expectations of newer and better looking outfits and music. Companies scrambled to catch the attention of this new wave of foreigners. K-pop would go back to uniformity. Now idol groups wore similar outfits to one another as a way to catch viewers' eyes. And while it was neat to see idols in uniform for stage performances, sometimes these will blend together to the non-K-pop induced eye. There needs to be a way to truly separate these members from one another while still somehow being on brands for themselves and their music. On May 18, 2015, SHINee released their deep house song View, and this song was revolutionary in sound and fashion. Deep house was a massive switch from loud, hyperpop and synth with auto-tune to a more calm and mellow sound. And with a switch of sound came a switch of clothing. SHINee would introduce the casual stage outfits to the K-pop world. no longer sporting the complicated and tight costumes / suits. The look of fun and comfortable became the new trend, and with the new trend came a new era. With this new style and fashion look, everything changed. Boy groups began to branch out in looks and sound. More brighter and friendlier looks came about, as well as new styles of music. Girl groups would go from these sweet, innocent young women to the badass girl bosses they were with the debut of Blackpink in 4 minutes. This era of third gen also helped bring about a new way of styling. Concepts. Now, concepts are not a new thing. They've been around since the second gen. However, concepts were an afterthought to the music. As long as the music was good, the looks didn't matter too much. In third gen, when groups debuted or had comebacks, the fashion was a massive piece of where the artists were going in their musical direction. BTS went from hip-hop warriors to angsty hormonal teenagers to tortured souls questioning their path of life to self-loving superstars. Twice had a significant change as they went from a group doing sweet and cute concepts, literally being dubbed the queens of cute concepts. They as a group switched styles, not just for a comeback, but as a branding. Pantsuits, dark colors, natural makeup, and deeper sounding songs followed the young women as they went from cute sweet girls to mature young women. This generation of K-pop idols also brought about a new wave of sounds. Groups like Dreamcatcher brought about rock and metal as idol groups. EXO helped bring in more R&B sounds. Red Velvet were wildcards. You didn't know what they would produce. And 17 were giving phrases to the term boy next door with their happy-go-lucky music. New looks also came about. In 2016, BTS will release their 4th studio album, Wings. This album will be a massive landmark in both BTS's career and in the fashion world for K-pop. Blood, Sweat, and Tears will bring about the sexy elegance concept. This concept will bring about suits, dress shoes, and a much cleaner look. However, it was still new as the suit jackets were patterned. The members wore silk undershirts. The suits, while elegant looking, were still breathable enough for the members to dance in. Soon, male groups will follow in this concept in one way or another. Silk shirts, flashy suits, and overall, the sexy look would dominate. Meanwhile, the female idol groups had a divide, as one half of the female idol groups stuck to sweet, innocent, cute concepts, while the other half will go to the badass girl crush concept, with only a few outliers in the mix. For those who were still doing the cute concept, frilly dresses, powdery colors, and light makeup were the mainstay, while those doing girl crush did more loud and brash colors. Crop tops, short shorts, loud jewelry were the go-to styles of 2016 when a girl group would debut with a girl crush concept. From 2016 to 2019, K-pop would explode with Western media attention. BTS just performed at the Billboard Music Award and soon started winning American awards. Blackpink was breaking records. Concerts upon concerts were being announced, and it seems that K-pop was on an unstoppable growing rate. Then, 2020. Was not a good year for anybody. The coronavirus had taken over the world. George Floyd's unaliving was put onto the internet, and Black Lives Matter took over the world. Beloved celebrities were dropping dead, concerts were being canceled. It felt like the world suddenly stopped. Idols were forced home, and some groups even ended up disbanding because of this moment in time. K-pop had an issue, with tours now postponed till who knows when. How were these idols going to interact with their fans? How are these companies going to make revenue? Companies will come up with the idea of holding online concerts. This will help with revenue as well as keeping their idols active. Online concerts will take over a majority of 2020 as well as online fan calls. This era of K-pop would be a strange but comforting era as idols and fans truly felt a closer connection with everyone, feeling the same sense of dread and depression that was 2020. This era will also be the beginning of 4th gen K-pop groups. In August of 2020, BTS will release their smash hit song, Dynamite. Dynamite was a funky disco song meant to help and uplift the sadness and sorrows. Dynamite would help kick off a new era, and that was the retro era. Gone were the trendy 21st century clothing. Stylists were pulling out bell bottoms, platform shoes, leather shirts, and anything that screamed disco/synth 80s. Pantsuits and skirt suits trended for female idols, while bold color suits trended for male idols. The empty year called 2020 left before anyone really knew it, and soon people were rolling into 2021. Now, at this point in time, K-pop has risen to become a mainstream genre that many people listen to, as well as K-dramas, with the massive success of Squid Game. This new mentality of K-pop becoming a mainstay in the Western music industry, companies began to branch out into other industries, and the most important being fashion. Now, having a fashion brand in K-pop wasn't a new thing. This trend was happening back in second gen, but it was a rarity. Nowadays, it seems that it doesn't matter if you're even in the industry long enough, because fashion companies are just throwing the title ambassador around like it's confetti, as long as you're from a big company. New Jeans is the best example, as they've only been on the scene for less than 2 years, and they are already brand ambassadors for Louis Vuitton. Stray Kids 100 is an ambassador for Celine. Celine seems to be a mainstay in the K-pop industry, as it seems that every other idol and their mother has some type of Celine clothing. Blackpink literally rap about their high fashion clothing in their songs. And 90’s-100 is now the Balmain Prince. This era of high-end fashion is simply called the brand era. K-pop has had its ups and downs when it comes to fashion, but both played a massive role in the evolution of K-pop fashion. Had it not been for Taeji and the boys, the 90s wouldn't have morphed into modern day K-pop. Had Lee Jung-hun not taken the K-pop stage by storm, we wouldn't get the iconic pieces we love today. SHINee helped bring about the casual look. BTS and many third-gen idols helped form the concept style. And finally, with the rise of K-pop, 4th-gen idols are now getting brand deals and are showing it off in their music videos or in public. As we enter the 5th gen, I expect one of two things to happen. The new era, known as the aesthetic era, will take over, as it is very similar to the concept era, or the K-pop fashion will become stagnant until something new comes about. Either way, I will be in tune for it, and hopefully you will too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Signed, Snow.